gotta leave it to the professionals.
Blessed by Gandhi, blah, blah, blah.
Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been goated when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her Era Lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the
Started off with a
blockchain.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like LeBron James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. The field's not falling for the FOMO. Listening to coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum entities. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I gotta shout out
Started
the
off with a
40.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Breaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in suits. Yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, mighty, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. Had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. So I had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the ride with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
GM, welcome to Coffee with Captain. I'm Cap. Happy Friday. We are almost live everywhere. We actually do have the mic unmuted today. It did its thing and automatically unmuted it after the intro video. We're live on my personal X account with video. The Coffee with Captain X account, I've been getting continued errors all morning on sending the X video live. So we're live on one of 2 X video feeds. We are live now on Abstract after a few retries there, and as always, live on YouTube, which seemingly never gives us any issues. So if you've not yet joined us as a sub on YouTube, head over there right now, smash that like and subscribe. Would appreciate it. Our morning GMers, some say the best GMers in the game come from YouTube. So they also say it's the best spot to get your to get in the running for a Coffee with Captain Claw pool. It's a Friday, so we've got a $50 gold silver. It's $50 silver BZ Claw pool coming up this morning for someone over there in the YouTube chat. So far, we got Absolute Zero, Mike Campbell, and the Aspiring Nobody in the running for that Friday morning BZ Claw pool. GM to everyone in the chat getting things warmed up. Greatly appreciate you. I got Dort, Chief, Maria. Maria, I hope you got one of those doodle mints yesterday. Not on the X title yet, but over on YouTube and Abstract, you can see today's title is Zcash bug. We'll talk about that here in a bit. Crypto crash continues, but you know what's not crashing? NFTs. NFT mints in particular continue to cook. We may just jump right into that as the first update of the day, talking about that doodle mint and the glyphs, both big time from Mint. You absolutely love to see it. And we also have a special guest joining us today, a sponsor interview, Concordium, coming on at 9 a.m. Eastern. So any love getting the audio spaces warmed up, the likes, the reposts. Why we do love our YouTube chat. Maybe you know what? Well, let's mix it up this morning. I'm not to bait and switch you all that already warmed us up in YouTube, but we're gonna pick our Coffee with Captain participant from somebody reposted and commented on the X audio space for my personal account. Would appreciate any extra love on the audio space today. Greatly appreciate it. And while it is a sponsored interview, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think what Concordium is building is I felt it's important. And I wake up this morning seeing the Zcash bug. This again, we'll talk about that here in a second, but it's increasingly important. This AI, not only the Zcash exploit, but the AI agents just flip humans in terms of internet activity. And we know it was coming, but it's now official. There's more AI agents on the internet than there are humans, and this missing layer, this missing agentic layer in terms of accountability of AI agents, who created them, where it's just there's a very big gap there, and Concordium is filling that. So look forward to that here at 9. We'll see. We may do Coffee with Captain claw poll right before 9 if we have time, depending on where the conversation takes us. We may do it right after the Concordium interview. It won't be a full hour. I think around 45 minutes, and so we'll have some time at the end of the show if we don't get to Coffee with Captain before that. But also, in addition to there, I thought it was about to go live on the Coffee with Captain X. I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on. Usually StreamYard just broadcasts out to all these YouTube and X, but it's continuing to give some challenges here this morning. And I don't have any reason why. It just says an error occurred. Wait a moment, try again. There was a couple of new X updates. So I will say that, as always, it is a community-driven show. And we this week, I feel like we've had episode after episode of value adds from the audience, and even some new members like Spinotron, who joined us. We'd never even connected before, joined us thanks to NFTs every day, and made that connection, jumped upon, and was able to give us the rundown, not just an expert, a whale on the Panini NFT chain and collecting those Panini NFTs, and it was great to hear from him, and very much so a key part of this show. So as always, you're open to join us today up on the stage, or drop your comments and questions in the chat down below. If you are planning to jump up on stage at any point, my recommendation would be just head to the App Store and make sure that you're running the most recent version of X. That is anytime I see that now, I know it's probably gets old for some of you, but that's one. There's sometimes that, like, for whatever reason, I can't get the X video to go live on the Coffee with Captain account today, and don't know. One of the known fixes or known solves, other than unplugging it and plugging it back in, is just make sure we're all running the same instance, the same version of X. And while they doesn't seem like they've updated spaces in a while, they're shipping updates at a very rapid frequency as of late. I just had a friend ask me this is not making this up. This is perfect cold open. Friend who's vacationing in Florida, albeit on the Panhandle, like Destin area, asks me and another buddy of ours who also lives in Florida, curious, do you guys have a go-to moisturizer? Apparently, I appear moisturized and unbothered to my in real life friends, keeping this pasty complexion that I have despite living in the Sunshine State. Don't like ones that are thick and gooey, but rather ones that go on a thin layer and doesn't feel like you're anything in a few seconds. Mine is CeraVe. CeraVe. I should recommend. What was the what did we talk about a while back? It's also used in fertilizer. The cow urine. I'm thinking urea. I don't remember. But yeah, do you have a go-to moisturizer? That'll be the question to warm up the chat today. If you have a go-to moisturizer, let us know. Let us know in the chat if you have a go-to moisturizer. I use CeraVe, as I said. CeraVe. How do I spell it? CeraVe. Shouldn't be that hard to spell. Yeah, CERAVE. Anyways, other cool to open before we get into the Zcash news and everything else taking place here in wild. I mean, like we've used to call it the Wild Wild West. It seems to be getting more wilder. Like I feel like we're going backwards in terms of Wild Wild West in crypto. And I shared it yesterday. I remain like optimistic and bullish on the space at large and opportunities, to find opportunities that can be advantageous, can be profitable. That said, my faith in DeFi in particular, it's wavering due to AI. Quite frankly, that's what happened with AI, or that's what happened with Zcash. We'll talk about it here in a bit. In other cold open material, Kevin Durant, KD, had maybe the funniest paparazzi pick in a while. They caught him. He was going to Nobu in Malibu, and he was found. He hid behind a bush, so the paparazzi couldn't get a picture of him and the friend that he was taking out. Osiris says, nothing was like going to Vegas for the first time last year. Lived in Florida for 3 years, but in Ohio all other times of my life. The way my lips dried so quickly. Yeah, you gotta live in Florida, go to Vegas. Like I've done it before, so I knew what I was getting into. And it's very, very dry, and it'll dry out your skin very quickly. So I go in prepped with what do you call it? Chapstick. You got to keep the lips moisturized out there. While I do use CeraVe, prefer the non-SPF one. Anyways, let me know your go-to moisturizer. I think CeraVe's S tier, but it might just be me. One other, I guess we'll knock it out in cold open, because I would rather share now and then not get emotional as we get closer to our special guest. But we shared on the show kind of in passing. I think this was her first like public post, but have been chatting with Outer. I got a text from her yesterday. She did knock out her first treatment, first session. One down, 5 more to go. But she just shared on the timeline. Sadly, her breast cancer is back, and she doesn't even have any breasts anymore. Found a lump in her armpit last month. Waiting for official staging this week. We're hoping it's not metastatic. I did try immunotherapy only, and it didn't work. But before, the choice was chemo or see if it comes back. Now the choice is chemo or death. So F it. Did round 1 of 6 today. Then before the side effect meds wear off, I cut my hair for the first time since grade 8, because I'll end up bald in 2 weeks anyways. I should probably run this by my girlfriend first, but I've never done it in solidarity head shaving before. Outer is someone I consider a dear friend, and if she would like to, if she would appreciate that, I would shave my head to be bald with her. Although I have a feeling I would look pretty silly bald, because I am I've got some big ears that I hide under the cans here. They're not even noticeably big until I have really short or shaved hair. And I noticed this reminded me last time I went and actually got the haircut, because I went to a new barber. The old one was leaving it too long. So this one actually, I said, hey, I showed him a picture. I said, I'd like it short, and got it a little too short. Little too short. Felt like he took like a level 2, trimmers and just he didn't do that, but that's what it felt like. Mayhem. I'm gonna blind share this with my friend. I've not seen this Bill Burr skit, but I think he will. I think he might appreciate it. So I'm just gonna blind share it. I'm gonna blind forward that to my friend right now, who's asking about moisturizer. That's actually better than your favorite moisturizer. If you have a moisturizer, a joke or a good clip. I'll just spam him with that today. just I don't know why I find it so funny that our good friend is asking what's the go-to moisturizer as he visits this fine state of Florida. Weather's fine this week. It's beautiful, at least where I'm at. It's like this morning was the first time it's been below 70 in the morning for a while. Went to the gym. I was like, sure it's warmer now, but it was like 69 degrees. Nice, right? 69 degrees on the way to the gym this morning. It's first time I've seen that in a bit. But yeah, for June, super nice. Also, last cold open item here, and then we will get rolling. I know there's like 0.5 people that care, but I shared it in the war room. I think I shared it on the stage. I can't remember about the baseball curse when I for my playing days, my senior year. We had a loaded team. We're favorites to win a state championship, and myself and the other captain, us two, we were co-captains. Although I was still recovering from a broken leg, so I wasn't playing the whole year. But the other co-captain was our starting shortstop and good hitter. And long story short, we got and I was straight like a square, as the boomers might say, in most of my high school career until I broke my leg. I broke my leg in January sled riding, nasty compound fracture. Bone flew out of my skin, and it was awful. Like full 6 months of recovery, and I had bulked up the year prior in football, and was, I mean, best shape of my life, even current run included. Was like 185 pounds, I think is what I played at. So I went from 185, broke my leg January 8th. And within a few months, not only did my leg atrophy and became like smaller than my arm, I went from 185 to like 150. And it was at the time, maybe before I broke my leg, I was considering going and playing football at a few, smaller D3 school, and decided to just hang up my cleats and go to Ohio State and have fun, and no regrets. But long story short, after I got that broken leg and basically my sports career is over, I got into partying a little bit and threw a couple house parties, which I think I got caught every time I did that. Funny story, we had a big, the house my stepdad built growing up was a big, beautiful home on 10 acres, and he put an attic fan in that you could turn this thing on, and it would like, it's like a big industrial attic fan where it'd pull air all the way through the house. And so I had a party one time. My parents were out of town, and by the end of the night, people were like smoking in the house. It was bad. And so in the middle of winter, by the way, I open up all the windows in the house, turn the attic fan on, and I'm like, I had like, like basically like I was ski gear on, like trying to stay warm as the house, it was freezing outside, and I was just trying to air the house out in a big puffy, winter jacket. And they get home. My mom calls, and they're like 2 minutes away. I'm like, oh crap. So I'm like running through the house, shutting all these windows, and I made it. And then I think I got away with it. And then until they found a bunch of bottle caps underneath the couch and stuff. So anyways, I got caught by my parents. And then as we're baseball's making a deep run into the playoffs, again, favorites to win a state title. We're in the regional finals. And actually, we're in the regional semis, and myself and the other co-captain and one senior person who had already graduated, was a year ahead of us. We get busted for drinking in a state park underage. I mean, first of all, it's illegal to drink at a state park, but we were also underage, and so we were going to have to deal with it. We ended up getting like some community service and stuff. But long story short, the school had found out about it and did nothing, and So they did nothing. We win the regional semi game, and then we go to the regional finals. We win, we go to state, and right before the game, someone, allegedly a concerned parent from the community, calls in and says, saw these boys got busted, underage drinking. What are you gonna do about it? And forced the school's hand. They basically had to suspend us for 2 weeks, 15 days. But it was, we were at the end of the season and most important game of the year. Anyways, long story short, the shortstop was like a D1 athlete. He went to play in college, really, really talented kid. And the two shortstops that replaced him went 0 for the game, struck out 5 times combined, had 5 errors that led to 9 unearned runs. And we lost 14-13, lost by 1, despite the 9 unearned runs, 8 or 9 unearned runs, got knocked out of the playoffs. And our legendary coach, who had coached for 5 decades, and at the time had the most wins in the state of Ohio in history. Basically retired a year early. We drove him away. I didn't realize this until this year that the school like considered it a curse. Like we myself and my co-captain basically are getting busted because the coach retired, left a team that was loaded with 3 other D1 athletes, D1 baseball players that he retired a year early, and they had not made it back to state. They had never won districts since then. It was a 27-year curse. And anyways, they finally beat the curse. They won last night in extra innings to win the regional championship and make it back to states. So the 27-year curse is over. And I found one of the kids who scored in extra innings to put them ahead is actually the son of one of the guy I said that was me and the other co-captain, and then one other person who played with us the year before who graduated. He was his freshman in college. It's his son actually scored the go-ahead run in extra inning in the 10th inning last night to give them the win. So curse being broken by one of the creators of the curse's kid. I find it tough. Again, I know like no one cares, like 0.5 people care, but I can't talk about the Spurs until tomorrow, and it's Saturday. So that's my sports talk today. And I also last thing before I hand it to Joey here. In addition to by the way, he appreciated it. He said, this is funny. Then he follows up with, it's a shame he turned into a puke. So not a Bill Burr fan. I don't know what he's even referencing. I'm not sure what Bill got into. I don't even have I'm not even going to begin to guess, but he laughed. So thanks for sharing. In addition to your top moisturizer, what's a good name? I'm going to chat with ChatGPT and Claude, but what's a good name for a sports show? It's not going to be in the morning, so probably not going to tie into the the coffee theme or coffee brand. I'm crowdsourcing a sports show name. It'll be primarily focused on best ball. I feel that's a niche where, yes, there's a lot of content around it, but fantasy sports, fantasy football is just way too broad. Whereas I feel best ball specifically is a much more niche segment, and very few content creators actually that create just best ball content. Most of them are more generalist. And what I'm leaning on at least at this point is more specializing in the best ball realm and having that be the focus. But we have Joey on stage. Joey with on the BZ team here supporting our Coffee with Captain. I should say this: we may we do have a Coffee with Captain schedule, but we got to get more people in here than what is currently slow, sleepy Friday morning. May have to do with the X bug. Or not X bug, but X update. Not really sure. But lighter start than typical at 8:23. So if you haven't yet given the audio space in particular some love, even if you already liked and subscribed over there on YouTube, or you gave us some love in Teacher Katie in the abstract chat, would appreciate any help on the X audio space getting this thing warmed up. Would be appreciated. Also, I saw it's in Mandarin, I believe, so I can't read the name, but looks like another. I'm guessing it's something like Ethos, or where Joey's got 13,799. I'm at 972. I don't know. I'm curious if anyone knows what am I looking at here? What are these numbers? These ratings, I guess. It's first time seeing this exactly, but it's some overlay or some extension on top of X. That said, Joey, GM, what brought you up this morning, sir?
GM, I honestly don't remember at this point why I initially came up.
Did I see another BZ update?
I guess I'll just shill.
If you're
not following BZ on Instagram, go follow us. We're giving away a $12,000. I think we're giving away a Mew over there.
Wow, 12 grand?
Is it? Yeah, we're giving away 12,000. Sorry, $1,200. $1,200.
Still
Mew
not bad.
2, PSA 10. Yeah, I misspoke there. Big difference between 12,000 and 1,200. Over on BZ, Instagram. Our Instagram is bz.com. Like spell it all the way out because we haven't been able to acquire just BZ yet. So, but I don't remember why it originally came up. I've been like multitasking, doing things, and so I'm just hanging out for now.
Well, you're welcome to hang, and like I said, as long as we get, as long as we break triple digits, we'll run a coffee with Captain before 9 o'clock. If we aren't at triple digits, we're gonna make y'all wait until about 9:45, most likely. This is too funny. I just saw Kobe posted 1 hour until Zcash goes to 0. We also, just quick reminder, at noon Eastern today, the Rect Drinks and Solana collab goes live. Soulberry. I'm not sure if I'll be getting any of those today, but I think maybe I do want to talk about Zcash, and I also want to talk about this NFT mints that are going bonkers. I did not get any yesterday. I got shut out on Doodles. It sold out during the private sale, and then I was out and about when the mints went live, so I didn't get any. But minted for, I don't remember what was. Remind me what that mint price was yesterday. It was pretty light. 0.05 maybe. I'll look. Well, let's use this. Let's do a quick market update, and because I can share with you or share the screen while we're doing that, and then we will move into talking all about Zcash and this exploit, because I'm not like, I'm definitely not one to like grave dance or I don't like seeing anyone be down or seeing anyone lose money, and I haven't been. I haven't been like fudding the Zcash pump. I respect the pump. That said, I held none. I had zero interest. Not only did it, the whole privacy thesis, I get the privacy thesis. It's just, it just didn't make any sense. It seemed to me like I'm trying to choose my words carefully, so I don't want anything to be taken out of context. I'm not going to go as far as say it seemed manipulated, but it seemed like a coordinated pump. It seemed like a coordinated pump of a lot of KOLs rotating out of Bitcoin and into Zcash. And then you started seeing other KOL. I'm not saying there was any. I'm not saying anyone was paid to do so, but it very much so seemed like a coordinated, forced narrative. And I get privacy. Yeah, it's important. We're going to talk more about that with our special guest today at 9. But it's hard to use. Didn't make sense. The valuation makes no sense, I didn't think, relative to the revenue the change generating and what it's actually being used for. Most of the people weren't even using Zcash. They were just buying it or selling it, which again is fine. Like there's a lot of crypto that takes place. But we talk about Hyperliquid, which is a real protocol, a real platform generating upwards of $1 billion plus a year and growing. Zcash had none of that. It seemed like something felt off the entire time. I think why I wasn't fudding, I did mention the price action seemed very weird. I think I might even be quoting B-Check here when he said weird or not normal. For something that was in the narrative, the meta, you usually see that stuff just go up, and like a slight pullback up. But we were seeing with Zcash like 20% up, 20% down, 20% up, 20% down. Like just it was very volatile, more so than most things that captured. Like some would say it was the leading narrative of this cycle of this year. I would disagree on that. But anyways, we'll talk a little more about what happened here in a bit. I do want to get into a daily market update so we can highlight some of the positive stuff today. But it just seemed odd, and how people were talking about it. And we talked yesterday about Arthur Hayes and saying, Zcash or Hyperliquid to 150, and I'm long, and gave his whole thesis, and then simultaneously selling. And then after the fact comes out, I sold my high position. It's just bad form. And I'm not saying that's what happened with Zcash. I'm not saying that these KOLs that have been pumping it, chilling it, dumping behind the scenes, but it just felt odd. It seemed odd. It was so odd. Like I didn't want to touch it, and we didn't talk about it as much relative to others in terms of like how much attention it had garnered, and the high level, the tease we'll dive into here in a bit more detail, but it came out that Claude or ChatGPT, I think it was Claude, discovered just the $20 version of Claude discovered a bug in the Zcash contract that would allow for unlimited minting. And oh, by the way, it's a privacy chain, so you can't really see who's been minting or how many tokens are out there, and so it's crashed 50%, cut in half basically overnight, bounced a little bit, and maybe they patch everything.
I finally had a good trade.
What's that?
I said I finally had a good trade. I bought Zcash when it was down, then it went back up, and I was like, yeah, I'm getting out of this. And
nice.
I mean, I didn't make much money, but it's
better to make a little bit of money
and lose money.
Yeah, better to make a little bit of money than lose a lot of money. So good, GG's, good trade, and yeah, congrats. Take those wins when you get them. Let's do this. We're going to play in a quick market update, and then we'll talk about some of these new mints, and then we'll come back and we'll get back into more details on the Zcash exploit and what I think it means maybe for not just Zcash, but privacy, DeFi, and crypto tokens, where they continue to crash. NFTs, and in particular NFT mints, continue to cook. This is the Daily Market Update.
Coffee brewing. Yeah, the market's in play. Charts on the screen. What the numbers gonna say? We got offer in the cup every single day. Coffee with Captain. Market update on the way.
All right, we're going to start with, the whole good news, bad news. We're going to start with the bad news first and going to end on a higher note. Well, yeah, it is bad news. I was going to try to sugarcoat it and make it just sound like news and then finish with good news, but it's not great news. Not great at best. Fear and greed down to 17. I think we were 19 yesterday, so it continues to dip a little bit there. Bitcoin down 2%, and that's actually good on the day relative to some of these other majors. It's now 61,862. When does the bleeding stop? It's down 15% on the week. ETH down 6% on the day to $1,600. 1656 to be exact, down 17% on the week. Oof. I might have just puked in my mouth and swallowed it. BNB down 1%, XRP down 4%, Solana down 5%, 19% on the week. Tron down 1%, Hyperliquid down 8% on the day. Now flat on the weeks, gave up all the last week's gains. Doge down 6%, 15% on the week. Leo down, and the rest is just down. But Stellar, which had been cooking, was up big. It's down 9% on the day, and it also lost its gains on the week. Monero, the other, getting caught up in the Zcash privacy bubble, down 3%, 7% on the week. Cardano, as the founder, Charles Hoskinson's, announces he's taking a break. It's down 15% on the day, 30% on the week. Very, very bloody week. And I think bigger than what's worse than like these double-digit declines on the week is billions of dollars, billions plural, in liquidations as these dips or crashes rather have occurred. Last but not least, Zcash down to 18th now in market cap. It is still slightly above 5 billion after a small bounce this morning, but down 43% on the day following this bug discovery. And that is, Ton even down 15% on the day, 12% on the week. Pretty red day. WorldCoin up 9% on the day, 75% on the week. That one also feels a little, maybe a little manufactured. I need to come up with a better word for it. But heading over to bright, shiny news, and you may think, well, that doesn't look too bright. A lot of red here as well. But NFTs are the silver lining on a bloody day, a bloody week. Punk's down 1%, still 30.5. Hyper's down 5%. Pudgy's up 1.7%. I'm not sure what this Sablier lockup NFT. I take it as it must be an NFT to show you stake some tokens, maybe locked up some tokens. Holy moly! Does that say 29 ETH? Yeesh, 376K. So this has got to be yeah, tokens pending amount 4.78 of the whatever the token is, Sablier. Yeah, some big sales there, but that's not really. I mean, it's an NFT, not certainly not a PFP, but more of a token allocation or token lockup. Pudgy's up 1.7% to 4.14. We talking about Doodles. We had Dude Lifts on the show talking about their new mint. The blind box up to 0.147. The coated pink up to 0.31, and the Piet, the focused, up to 0.23. Congrats on all the minters, and congrats on Doodles. Also, collectively, about 150 ETH in volume, 67 on the blind box, 47 and 42 on the other two prints. Pretty solid day there. Mutants up 4% on the day. Apes are flat, down 0.1%. VFriends up 27% on the day. What did I miss, Jeremy? What's the VFriends news? There's got to be something to pump that. VFriends now 1.82 floor for VFriends, and a big 27% gain on the day. You love to see it. You're welcome to join us if you'd like, or drop us in the chat if there was a announcement or a post that we missed, or a big sweep. Something happened there. 23 sales in the last day, 42 ETH volume, and floor price up 27%. NPC, non-player character, up 40%. Another new mint that continues to cook. It's now almost 0.05 ETH floor. Ringers down 11%. Glyphs by FDOT is down 42% on the day, but 0.025. This is still more than 2x the mint price. I think the mint price was about $20. It did run up to like 0.05, 0.04, something like that. So it had a really nice gain, and again, still is trading, despite what you see here, down 42%. It's still 2x mint price for that new collection. The Grifterettes new collection, 0.0144. Little Pudgies up 1%. Azuki up 2%. Moonbirds up 10%, although I didn't realize they had gotten as low as they are. It's 0.66 despite the 10% lift. Denza's up 15%. And Normie's losing a little bit of their motion, down 14% on the day, but still 0.41. Another new mint. Drop Dead Gorge, another new mint, up 15% on the day. Brain Rot, another new mint, up 5% on the day. Reorder, this came from Dario DeSena. It's down 7% on the day, but still up above mint price as well. G's on Ape, holy moly, up 26% on the day. Meebits up 8% of the day as they get the Adam Weitzman love. It looked like Sergito and Adam took the private jet to NFC Summit, the NFT Lisbon, formerly known as NFT Lisbon, NFC Summit. Is anyone at NFC Summit? Is anyone's here? I doubt it due to the timing, the time zone. But if anyone is at NFC Summit in Lisbon, I would love to know. We've got it's conference season's upon us. We got NFC Summit in Lisbon. There's also New York Tech Week, and then next week is, I think, ETH Global, also in New York. For those people like myself that were interested in vaulting a V1 Punk, they're down 13% a day, down to 2.49. So that pullback, it seems to be happening now. Good Vibes Club down 9% of the day. Green Acres, not sure what this one is, up 25%. And Doodles, the OG collection, flat on the day. Yappy Baras, something happening there with Kaido, up 39% of the day. Interesting to see. And Jeremy did say a couple of sweeps is what drove that VFriends pump. No new announcements, just Chrome excitement following their Topps Chrome box drop. And then Book Games is up because we have a new limited comic burn available. So love to see it. Love to see the sweepers, and you see OG collections like VFriends up 27%, along with all these new collections continuing to do well. So congrats to the minters, and stay tuned. We're running. Someone have to check the tape. Until someone corrects me, I'm gonna say we're running perfect on Coffee with Captain. Never any financial advice. As soon as I say this, the next one we could be wrong and it could go to zero. But we didn't steer you all into Zcash, and instead we've been continuing to talk about new, fresh NFT mints that we are I think batting 1,000. We're 100% on NFT mints that we have suggested or called out or highlighted on the show. They've been a profitable flip if you got in and out. So patting myself on the back, and the Coffee with Captain pump continues to be real. I should have done. I'm serious. I'm gonna DM Dude Lifts after the show, because it was not a paid interview, as I said, although it looks like the Doodles did do a paid campaign. And I'm gonna tell, hey man, you don't have to stroke me a check every time, but if you guys are doing a paid campaign, the next time I would like at least a mint or two to give away to our audience. So my job, I'll do a better job there. My bad. I'll do a better job in the future of getting you guys.
Is this the open edition you're talking about, Cap?
No, it wasn't open edition. It was a 555 was the supply.
Oh, but I thought earlier in the week you mentioned Doodles was doing an open edition. Was that just not the right information?
I might have misspoke. The open edition was Good Vibes Club. Their
that's the one with Dort's Knight on it.
Yep,
Golden Knight.
Exactly. Yeah, and that one is live for 69 hours. It
might be closing very soon. It's been open for a few days.
Yeah, I think so. So that's closing, and as well as the Vibathon ends in about 3 hours. If anyone wanted to get into that Vibathon, you got about 3 hours to do that.
What is in the Doodle boxes?
It's one of 5. There's 5 different designs, so you get one of 5. It's an NFT, but it's collaboration with a estate of an artist who's passed away. The name is, as you know,
it's not really related then to like Doodles outside of it just being from the Doodles team?
Well, it's Doodles artwork. I'll show you here in a sec. I'll pull it up. The Beacon of Light that lasts another 2 hours, 2 hours and 18 minutes on the Beacon of Light. So if you wanted to get in and support our guy Dort, you got about 2 hours to do so. Get your Beacon of Light there. They are 0.02. Let me go back to the Doodles mint here. It is Piet Mondrian, if you're familiar. I was not, but here is so it's pre-reveal right now. There is this is focused. So there's 3 collections. There's the Coded Pink, the Focused, and then the collector's blind box. So there's 5 different designs in the collector blind box. 555 was the supply. And if you're seeing on the video now, it's scrolling through the 5 different designs. So it's Doodles art in the style of Piet Mondrian. I probably apologize for butchering the name once again. But yeah, this was a 0.08 mint. So it's almost a 2x, quick minute out during the private sale. So I do appreciate that they did a private sale. It was large enough to get their, the holders in. I haven't seen anyone complaining that they wanted to get a mint and they weren't able to. But basically, it minted out in the holder collection. Didn't make it to public sale, and nice 2x. So good to see.
So I'm assuming there's like rarity to the different, right?
Yeah, so I'm not sure how many of each, but yeah,
whatever it is, like 5 different designs, and then like there's less of a specific design.
That's my understanding. Right? Yeah. I don't think it's 111 of each one. I think there's some. I don't remember if that's a great question. I don't remember if we asked Dude Lifts, but my understanding is there will be some that are more rare than others. And then the other 2 collections, the Focused and the Coded Pink, those come with a print, limited edition print. So again, if you're going to introduce new art, I do it this way. Do it something different. Collaborate with, in this case, a legendary artist or the estate. It's the first time this estate has ever done a collaboration with, and continued on the work. So pretty cool there. And I think more of that does good for bringing more attention to digital art. Thank you all for everyone who's helping warm up the space here. We got about 15 minutes left until our guest joins us. We're going to see if we can we're getting very close. We need a few more reposts. A couple dozen of you have already given us the love. A few more reposts. Bring your friends in here. Tell them to join and get a chance to win a claw pull on Beezy this morning. We will do the claw pull. It's just going to be whether if we have 15 more to get to here in the next. And I know we are across all platforms we're there, but talking specifically for audio spaces, would appreciate the extra love and support on the audio spaces today. We get a dozen more in here before, and say in the next 10 minutes, we'll do our coffee with Captain claw pull before 9. If not, we'll do it around 9:45. It's a silver pull today, and you got a couple chase items in there over $1,000. There's a Zapdos PSA 8, first edition Zapdos is $1,300, $1,389 is the value on that, and then an Empires in the New World, a Zoro Juro. I'm definitely saying that wrong, but it goes for $1,000. So someone's hitting a grail today. I can feel it. Let's do this. So let's hit on Zcash. What the heck happened? And let me pull up some headlines here, some articles, some takes. Pretty heated, I think maybe is a good way to put it. I said this was a funny one. Kobe shared in 2017, and this is also what is I find interesting is this isn't the first time. Joey, make sure you're running the current version of X. I saw you dropped and had trouble adding you back. Make sure you've got your X updated. You said you actually closed it. So yeah, this is in 2017. This is the second time there's been a bug like this discovered on Zcash. In 2017, they found that 31% of all coins sent to Z-ADDRS may be linkable or matching to an identical outgoing transaction. Not great. Probably have zero market impact. Actually, nobody cares about science and crypto markets. I don't know. I think they did. And apparently that crashed the price back then. And then people just forgot about it until what happened yesterday. There's that. Again, make sure you're over on Instagram with BZ. Get in the running for that $1,200 prize over there. Dad's Addict, a good one to support. Joey and team's going to be at the Got Soul. I don't know if it's Soul or Soleil here in Miami in October. And I'm looking for, there's the giveaway, $1,450 celebrating Me Too, a PSA 10 Me Too, Mewtwo, excuse me, Jesus. I knew this one actually. I just misspoke. Freudian slip. There is the coded pink that Maria got. Congrats. I am looking. I didn't, all these GM likes here. It's more than I was expecting. So thank you all. Greatly appreciate the comments, the chats. We're getting close, 8 away from doing the Coffee with Captain. We got about 5 minutes to get it in before the interview. If not, we'll be doing it at around 8:45 or 9:45, excuse me. Here's a good explainer of the exploit. This is what I was looking for. The way to understand Zcash is it's not an infinite mint of Zec itself. It's more like a shielded pool orchard could become insolvent. Think of it more like Kelp DAO hack for ETH. That's not great. Very little reason to proactively unshield any Zec today. Being early to the exit is always better in a bank run. Consider orchard burned and don't reshield until there's a new pool with clean history. And there's an infographic. There's a few others here that I shouldn't laugh at this, but the bankless boy David Hoffman just recently capitulated, sold all his ETH and made it very public, wrote an article about it, and after being an ETH maxi for years, sold all his ETH and rotated into VVV, Near, Zec, and Hype, and then put the rest into Lighter. Down bad. When you can't imagine. And now ETH is not having the greatest of weeks, but certainly not down 50% a day. So Zec was able to 10x in a bear market because someone minted an infinite amount, then paid the biggest KOLs insane amount with rolls of selling. Everyone starts to shill it. Price goes insane. Insiders keep selling, and only after months of people find the bug. Gotcha. Again, some of this is just like could be shit posting, could be just sharing opinions. It is Grail Day on Coffee with Captain Mike. You got it. You know what, Mike? Well, I'm gonna hold. We'll wait until we do the poll. But yeah, if you want in the claw poll consideration today, drop your comments in the chat down below in the X audio space specifically, and let us know. I'm not going to go there. But Hyder Biden might have become one of the best shit posters on X within a 24 to 48 hour period. But not going to dive into that today. This was that's actually Hyperliquid post. Let me DC investor says, look, I'm not trying to pile on because I think at least a good chunk of people bought into this really believing in it. But here's a simple question. How do you not get effed if you can't prove if something has been exploited or not? Possibly resulting in infinite coins minted in the past, which you can't even detect today or anytime in the future. Is this a situation we're looking at here? Or am I misstating it? I already wasn't. CoinGecko updates the max supply to a question mark. I already wasn't interested. Already felt off to me. Now I'm definitely not interested. And it's just like here's Simon, who's another BZ bull. Simon says the current Zec situation is a great reflection of people realizing two things at the same time. Privacy is not always a feature. It can just easily be a bug and heavily dependent on underlying protocol design. 2, a fully software-based industry like crypto is more threatened by AI than ever before. If bugs this massive can be found in a protocol like Zcash with essentially just a prompt, where are you truly safe? As much as I hate to admit it, this is not a great position for crypto to be in. There are probably many more exploits to follow over the next 12 to 18 months before we can feel safe again. Personally, I don't think the risk you're carrying DeFi today is even remotely proportional to the laughably small yields you can earn in return. This is what happens when an entire industry prioritizes meme coin chasing and stupid online casinos over security for years, I guess. Again, not a I shouldn't have liked all these posts, but now you're getting a glimpse into my life. I'm not celebrating anyone else, but I do have a little tiff, a little if you missed it, David called, again, at the time, the largest ETH audience in terms of podcasts go, and he called Bored Ape Yacht Club a security. He said the NFTs are a security because he didn't hold any. He held other NFTs that in his mind weren't securities, although they were running the exact same roadmap that Bored Ape Yacht Club was. Bored Ape Yacht Club was just early, and he called during their SEC investigation, said, "Oh, they're a security." And Ryan Adams, even his co-host, pushed back and said, "I don't agree with that." Anyways, Zec is so private, there's no way to find out whether trillions of newly minted coins via an exploit have been dumped on you or not. Yep, rest in peace, privacy narrative, in respect to Satoshi, who thought of everything before deploying Bitcoin's networks live. I will say that's the one thing that it really does. Every time there's an exploit like this, it makes me more bullish on Bitcoin and ETH. Forget about the quantum threat. ETH there's something there. There's something there with Hyperliquid. There's something there, and I did see another take, not to take shots at David, but someone was saying like, "Hey, this is, in a bear market, you shouldn't be making moves like this. You shouldn't be taking, it's a lot of it's about preservation of capital, especially if you've done well and you were super early to ETH. Like you just don't need to be taking risky shots like this." And this was the Gainsey post, May 25th, bull posting. Zach said you can literally full port Zach right now, hit a clean 10x, retire, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. Well, ChatGPT or Claude would like a word, actually. The asymmetric opportunity exists only because the majority of people in crypto and aware of Zach have lost most of their funds on 1010 or after. What's stopping you now? Just didn't feel right. Didn't feel good. And then this was the one I was looking to get to here. By the way, Udi says this, by the way, this is the first time a bug like this isn't the first time a bug like this was discovered in Zcash. Last time it was discovered after being a year plus in the wild, and everyone lost faith, and Zcash went to zero for 7 years until they found a new generation of buyers who didn't know the history. That's you. So congratulations if you didn't get caught up in that. And I truly do feel for anyone if you did take an L. I'm not trying to rub salt in the wounds. This is I'll pin this one up top because this the thread here, the Orchard counterfeiting vulnerability and next steps. This is like the post-mortem, if you will. Frank pulled an excerpt out of that and said, bro basically said, look for bugs that could exploit Zcash. That's the prompt that found an exploit in a $10 billion protocol. The excerpt here is I had done prior automated audits of Orchard Circuit using the same Zcash full stack auditors agent using Opus 4.7x high. And those audits did not find the bug. I later confirmed Opus 4.7x high was able to find the bug, but only when directed rather specifically audit the variable base scaler, blah, 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 blah. When prompted more generically, audit the Orchard Circuit and Halo 2 gadgets for any bugs that could lead to inflation or double spend attacks against Zcash. Even Opus 4.8 struggles to find the bug, only finding it in 1/4 of the test runs. To which Zier says, if you still have money in DeFi, you're braver than the rest of us. All it took was a $20 Claude sub and a half-baked prompt to exploit Zcash. What we need next is CeFi Summer on-chain assets backed and guaranteed by centralized institutions. The only realistic way crypto survives, even if it means the cypherpunk dream is over. That, or dare I say, maybe insurance? Is there an insurance opportunity? I don't know how you necessarily would, make that a viable business when there is so much threat. I rarely that I share kook, but I'll do one more and then we'll do a quick break and then we'll come back to either, depending on the audience, when I come back, either a quick coffee with Captain or we'll bring on our special guest. Cook says the shameless scammers will say anything to suck more exit liquidity out of you instead of acknowledge that he wrecked everyone. More and more desperate attempts to cover up. Zec has infinite supply of counterfeit coins. This actually happened. XMR is real private money, but it could get hacked in the future. Anything can. Yeah, listen, scammer, how about you focus on the thing that did get hacked? You know, the thing you begged everyone to buy for months, the thing that cost half of CT their net worth on. Address your shortcomings. Don't cover them up. Merp says this is bullish Monero, right? And then Merp follows with XMR also prone to counterfeit bugs, as are all privacy protocols. Then I'm out. I'm out on privacy protocols. I'm not trying to hide anything. Like it's not that important to me. If I don't want you all to see what I'm doing, I'll move it to another wallet. I'll move to Coinbase and another wallet. And could Coinbase find out where my wallets are? They could. But most of this space, I don't think has any knowledge where, you know, I've got public wallets and I have my centralized exchange and I have other self-custody wallets that I don't ever touch from my public wallets. And that's enough for me. Like I'm not doing anything nefarious. I'm not trying to hide anything. And I do agree, crypto will never die. I do believe that. But I think right now the idea of doing anything remotely close to, you know, full stack or moving aggressively into anything DeFi right now. Like we've always said, there's smart contract risk, there's protocol risk. It's just greater than ever before. It just is what it is. With AI, it is what it is. And I kind of lean with zero. Like I've never been anti-centralized exchange. And more and more so, like if it, like, again, my mom has a Coinbase account. My daughter seemed like the Zec thing is overblown. I don't know, but Jeremy, like this is real. Like they found it. Like we don't know how many Zcash coins are in circulation. Like people could have been minting this. And to me, if someone, again, hypothetically, if someone was minting unlimited Zcash coins, unlimited Zec, that would explain the crazy price action, because they're not just going to dump it all at once. That would throw up red flags. So it would make sense that whoever's minting unlimited coins, they're just selling into pumps. It pumps 20%, they start selling, it comes down, they stop selling, pumps 20%, they sell. You know, it's just like, not saying that's what happened, but man, it does check out. Mert does, he is biased, yes. He says the exploit is likely a low chance, will be proven in the next upgrade. Yeah, but the whole thing with privacy chains, privacy coins is trust is a huge deal. The trust is gone. I mean, it's over at this point. For the foreseeable future, there's not going to be much trust in that particular chain or token. And you have some devs that can eat, breathe, and sleep this stuff, and they can read the Zcash blockchain. Most of your normal people, especially those that aren't here, but even the people that are here, I have a hard time seeing them. Oh, I'm going to go. It's fixed now. I trust Mert. It's okay. This is never going to happen again. Yeah, Zane says just by V-Bucks. Hey, we're really close to Coffee with Captain. Really close, like within 5. So we're going to do this quick break. We're gonna do a quick coffee break. We'll be right back, and depending on the audience, we'll determine whether we do Coffee with Captain on the other side of this break or at 9:45. Don't go anywhere. While I'm away, I would greatly, my last ask for any love on the space, is like, repost a bookmark to do greatly help on the X audio spaces today is what we're asking for the love and support on. We'll be right back after this break. Maybe quickest coffee break yet. We were in and out, or back in under 60 seconds. I wonder if anyone else thought of Gone in 60 Seconds when I said that. Not the biggest Nick Cage fan, but that's a good one. If you want to go watch a Nick Cage movie this weekend, I'll recommend Gone in 60 Seconds. Blockmage says Coffee with Captain, most exciting part of the week. And we're at 98. We're at 98. Too shy. so far. You guys are doing you're putting out a valiant effort. 38 reposts, 99. One more. Can we get one more in here for Coffee with Captain? You know what? I don't see our guest, so guest would make number 100, and they're not here yet. So let's go ahead and run it. We're going to do our Coffee with Captain claw pool here before, because guest will make us around 100, and perfect way to transition into the next segment here. Just don't do me a favor and don't bail as soon as Coffee with Captain's over. Hang out for the interview and ask some questions. The participation is greatly appreciated. It is a kind of a nerdy topic, but one that is very important, especially in this world of increasing agentic activity on the internet. And I see Peter joining us here. So Peter, we're going to segue here in just about 60 seconds to do the segue. Right before we go in, we've got a Coffee with Captain, one of our favorite segments here on the show. Someone's going to win a BZ claw pull here this morning, and then we're going to bring Peter on. We've only got him for about 45 minutes. We're going to do this quick. It's going to be a speed round, a lightning round of Coffee with Captain, and the one and only Mike Campbell is going to be our participant today. He could win this thing every week. He's a great supporter of the show, longtime friend and fan of the show, and well-deserving of this claw pull. So, Mike, good luck. I can feel the grail. You're pulling one of these two chase items here. Good luck. Good luck. This is Coffee with Captain, brought to you by BZ. And then right after this, on the other side of this break, we're going to roll right into our interview of the day.
Coffee with Captain. Give that claw a spin. Culture grills from BC. Prizes within. Mystery and magic. Where to begin? Coffee with Captain. It's your time to win. Coffee with Captain.
Buying domains was low, Doma changing the game.
Good luck, Mike. Here we go. This is Mike Campbell's Coffee with Captain. Grail is coming. Good luck. Good luck. Hey, not bad. Not bad. It's a Scyther. It's a 2000 base 2 PSA 8 Scyther. The swap after fees is $51.70. So slightly ahead of that $50 claw pull. Nice card. Mike, let me know in the comments if you want to vault this card or swap it for the $51.70, and we will send it your way right after the show today. Congrats, well-deserved, and thank you so much for all the support for Coffee with Captain. Greatly appreciate it. Diego says cash out and do another. It is your call, Mike. Just let us know in the chat if you want to keep that thing or you'd rather swap. All that being said, without further ado, we're going to jump from one segment right into another. We've got the CTO of Concordium joining us today. We've talked about Concordium a little bit. I had the pleasure of hosting a space with the CEO of Concordium last week, 2 weeks ago, and really enjoyed it. The more I learn about Concordium, the more excited I get, because they are solving this missing layer in AI agents, mainly accountability. We're going to talk about why AI agents are different from traditional software, why identity and accountability are different things, why ERC 8004 alone doesn't solve accountability, why trust becomes infrastructure as agents become economic actors, and how Concordium solves accountability without sacrificing privacy, and why the verified Concordium badge matters. Peter, good morning. Welcome to the stage. We're going to get into all things Concordium here, but before we jump into all that, do you mind sharing a little bit with our audience, a little bit of your background, your crypto journey, anything you care to share just regarding your background by way of introduction?
Good morning.
Good morning.
And I usually start all my meetings and all my kind of addressings as good morning, beautiful people.
Hey,
kind of like that.
I like it.
I'll keep that going. Yeah, look, it's a pleasure to be here. I'll give you a bit of background about who I am. I know I sound 21. Unfortunately, I'm not 21. So I kind of started my career in the tech business when I was about 6, when the rubber key Spectrum came out. And I'm not going to give you my whole life story as to kind of everything that I've done, because that'll take too long. But in general, I've kind of been there at the forefront of technology as it's evolved. I was kind of there when I was doing my degree is when Google launched. And I've been around technology for a very long time. I've seen it grow, I've seen it change, and I've kind of grown and changed with it. I've had about 20 years background in energy and about 7 to 10 years in the crypto world. And before joining Concordium, I was at Quant for a good 5 years. So that's me in a nutshell.
Awesome.
And if you have any questions about any detail you want to know, I'll gladly share.
That's great. No, I really appreciate you sharing. And as always, audience, most of you are familiar. If you're new coming over from the Concordian community and just joining us today, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us here on Coffee with Captain. We do run the show back every Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern time. And we will usually the first hour of the day is like trending topics, news of the day, daily market update. And then we jump into often a special guest interview at the 9 o'clock hour. Honored to have Peter joining us here today. And yeah, feel free, drop your question in the chat down below. We've got Peter for about 45 minutes, but if time permits, we would love to get to any of your questions answered. If we can't get them answered today, the team has been great. I'm sure we'll get a follow-up in the near future. Peter, before we jump into AI agents and this accountability layer and everything that Concordian is building, we were spent most of the first hour today talking about this Zcash bug and this, and we're talking about privacy and why privacy matters and how Concordian is helping solve accountability without sacrificing that privacy. I would be remiss if I at least didn't ask you, hey, did you see this Zcash bug?
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on that? I'm not trying to make it PvP or have you talk about other chains or other protocols, but it is very, I don't want to say fitting or kind of sets up today's conversation, but yeah, just any general comments or thoughts regarding the Zcash bug / exploit.
Look, I think without going into too much detail, and as you say, giving too many things, it gets us both into trouble. But I think the way my stance on all of this is we are entering a very interesting era of time with AI that's coming in and all the different shapes and sizes that's coming in. And this is kind of what I mean by I've been around and I've seen a lot of things evolve and develop, and this is a very exciting time for someone like me who's been there from the beginning, right? Because this is literally all the sci-fi films that I grew up with almost coming true, right? This is a whole new era that we've gone into, and it is at the end of the day a exploit of code that has taken place, right? And in essence, on a chain with smart contracts and things like that. And our stance has always been, smart contracts shouldn't hold value, shouldn't be able to exploit it in that sense where you take the tokens out, and that's kind of where our PLTs come in. Right, that's kind of our whole ethos and approach to thing is keep it at the protocol level, keep it at the custody, keep it in a safe place, and that's kind of what Concordium is all about. Your identities at the protocol level, our tokens are at the protocol level, and smart contracts are really there to kind of give you green light or red light, and not hold custody. That's kind of my ethos and our approach.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense and very much so needed. We shared earlier that AI agents, agentic beings, agentic, bots, agents, whatever you want to call them, they've officially flipped humans in terms of internet activity. And, as this continues, like.
And that's the thing. Sorry to interrupt you, but I think that's the thing, right? Is that they are very active, and they're very new. Right, they haven't been tried and tested. There's lots of people experimenting with them, and they do go rogue and they do things that you didn't think they would do, and I think that's why guardrails come in. That's kind of why accountability comes into it. That's why we're in a very interesting era where it's moving much faster than any other technology has ever moved. Like if you look back as to kind of when things came in and how the adoption rate was, and people had time to adjust, the industries had time to adjust, things had times to adjust. This is going at such a fast pace that no one's having time to adjust, and this is kind of where balls get dropped, and as you can see.
Yeah, right. It's also like this accountability layer increasingly important. That while they flipped humans in terms of activity, it's not just activity. They're not just they're transacting. The infrastructure. It's kind of I don't want to say scary, but it's somewhat shocking to me that we've made it this far, and it's very few. Like Concordium is one of the few that's actually talking about, hey, let's maybe build some infrastructure for accountability for these agents, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is the thing because we're not used to it. right? As the way we've evolved is in general with technology, the accountability has always been there. It's always been in either the corporation's hand, they're accountable for their actions, or in your individual's hand because you're doing something, right? It's the first time where something else is doing something, and it's not us, and it's not the corporation, right? It's the same thing as autonomous cars that drive. Who's accountable for it? Is it the manufacturer who's made it that car's driving, or is it the person behind the wheel that's driving if it hasn't got the hands on the wheels? It's the same thing, but at a much faster, bigger scale. These agents are doing things. They're acting on their intelligence, lack of a better word, and making decisions, which then suddenly it goes wrong because it's that fresh, it's that new. The guardrails aren't necessarily there. So now what? Now whose fault is it? How do we bring the accountability to it?
Yeah. So how do we bring the accountability to it?
Well, funny you should mention that. It's something we've built. Well, look, I think the way we look at it in Concordium is Concordium has got an identity ingrained at the protocol level. We've had that from day one, probably earlier than we should have, but nonetheless we've had it. And I'll give you a little very quick brief kind of understanding of how that works and what the process is, just in case the listeners aren't fully 100% aware of how Concordium works. But in essence, in order for you to open up an account, you need to go through a ID verification process. We've kind of all done it whenever we've onboarded on places like banks or exchanges or anywhere that requires some sort of an identity check, where you take a photo of your passport or driving license or identity card, and then you do a selfie. And somebody verifies that yes, that person on the selfie or on the video matches the document, and the document isn't a fake document; it's a legitimate document. So you have to go through that process to open up an account on Concordium. Right? That's the gist of it.
So some people might be saying that's great, but I'm building on ETH. These agents are on ETH, or I'm building on Solana. Can you speak a little bit to that? How is this more than just a Concordium solution?
So the way it works is once you've got your account, right, none of that personal information is actually available publicly or seen or anything like that. That just stays in your device, with zero knowledge proofs and encryption's all done, right? What we put on the chain is just anchors to that data. What it just means is that we can prove cryptographically that that account has a human that has been identified behind it. Now, what we've just released with our agent registry that went live is basically the ability to come onto the chain and prove that you've got access to that account by obviously having a wallet or keys that you can sign for on that account, and also be able to put an anchor or an attestation onto the chain to say I've also got access to my Ethereum key. So we appreciate that there's lots of agents running in all different shapes and sizes and lots of different platforms. Our approach here isn't to tell everybody come and build on Concordium. All we're trying to say is Concordium adds that accountability to your agent. What you do is you come through the agent registry and you prove that you have access to both keys, your Concordium account and your Ethereum wallet or your Sol wallet. That is then ingrained onto the chain, added to the Concordium agent registry. And now you can have a token and a Concordium badge that your agent can use to tell anybody that, hey, by the way, there's a real human behind me. It's not just working without any accountability.
So makes sense. Seems like, well, like I said earlier, feels like it almost should be like table stakes or the standard, the norm when you're talking AI agents, especially if they're involved, if they're transacting on chain, if they're going to be making transactions. I guess my question would be like ERC 8004 exists. I thought that solved this problem or helped solve this problem. Can you educate us on like what is ERC 8004 and what is Concordium solving that it's not?
ERC 8004 is identity, right? But it is agent identity, not accountability. And what I mean by that is what you're proving with that is that I'm talking to the same agent that I was talking to yesterday. And I'm talking to an agent that's 100 other people account for its actions and its abilities. It still doesn't say who owns it. It still doesn't say it's the accountable party is X or the accountable person is Pete. Right. What we bring to it is the fact that our accounts have that human identity behind it, and it doesn't mean you don't have to know about it straight away. You just know that there's a human behind it. You can then ask for zero knowledge proofs against that human. You can even ask for a reveal if you wish. The use case allows that to take place. But what I'm trying to get at is With the 8004, you know it's the same agent. With our agent registry, which is 8004 compatible, we just added the Concordium identity on top of it. You get the accountability. That's the subtlety here.
Very, very interesting. And I think it's one of these things where it's technical in nature, it's new. And I think this is the kind of conversation that just so many they get excited about AI agents, they get excited about this on-chain activity, but it is a little more complex. And I think, I don't want to say it's misleading. It's not necessarily misleading, but most people don't read past that first page and understand that, yeah, it's
exactly
part of the way there. But there was I found this tweet that the Concordium account sent out yesterday. I think it was yesterday, a couple days ago, maybe. That was a really like a real life scenario. Like this is maybe you're not looking to AI agents for health advice today, but this scenario, I'll quote it. I got it pulled up on video for those watching the stream. Someone seeks medical advice online. An AI agent is given access to patient records. It recommends a treatment. The recommendation causes harm. An investigation begins. Who is accountable? The agent exists. The wallet exists. The transaction history exists. The responsible person doesn't. That's the difference between an agent registry and an accountability layer. As AI agents move into healthcare, finance, and other regulated industries, proving an agent exists won't be enough. The harder question is who's behind it. And to me, that was like, oh, okay, I get it now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that's the thing. I think up to now, it's been very much, if I hold the key, I hold, that agent. Fair enough, but it's still, if that key can go anywhere. There's no evidence that was you in the first place. You can easily give it to someone else, or someone else can take your key, and then that's it. Whereas with Concordium, even if they take your key, your identity is still behind it. So it's accountability. That's why it's a lot more important to maintain it.
Yeah, very. A registry can tell you the agent exists, but accountability tells you who's responsible when the thing goes wrong. And unfortunately, I mean,
they do.
Things are going to go wrong. Like it's inevitable, right?
They do. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and look, our whole approach to the agentic world is to make it safe. We're not here trying to stop it or to change, to stifle it in that sense. We just want to make sure that the guardrails are there and they actually work. Because if anyone's actually played with these agents themselves, even you tell it this is your guardrail, don't step out of this line, they still do, because of the way that technology is at the moment.
Right? Yeah, you could be telling everything correctly, prompting it correctly, yes. And then it might, literally have a mind of its own. So this, verified humans behind every agent. I think most of us would agree, or can agree now. That's pretty important, very important, depending on what they're going to be doing. Can you speak, like, how exactly is Concordium approaching this problem? How are you solving it? What are you doing to connect these two dots? I'm assuming is there a KYC component?
Yeah, so look, I think this is the thing, right? So once we've got your agent associated with your Concordium account, you now have a accountable layer associated to it, right? Now you've got lots of different ways of doing this. We can do zero knowledge proofs against your identity. So, I mean, you said healthcare. Let's kind of have another example here that we can work through. I've got a shopping agent. I don't want to do shopping. I hate shopping, especially food shopping. I just wanted my agent to go and do my weekly shopping from Sainsbury's and get it delivered, for example, right? Or from my supermarket. So it's very simple. I say, you've got access to my account here, and I want you to do my weekly shopping from that supermarket on a weekly basis. Now, two things need to happen here. One is I like beer, so I like to drink beer. So I need you to go and buy beer. Now, that supermarket needs to verify that this agent is allowed to buy the beer in the first place. Are you over 18 or not? Is the first question that will be addressed. Now, we have the ability to do a zero knowledge proof and prove that this agent is acting on behalf of someone who is over 18, right? So first hurdle taken care of. Next thing here that we've got to understand here is, can my agent actually ask the supermarket, are you the real supermarket? Are you the supermarket that has the business verified and behind the account? Or are you someone who's pretending to be the supermarket? Because that's also possible, right? As long as enough people say that's the supermarket agent in the ERC 8004 world, well, then that must be the agent that is acting on that supermarket, if enough people say it is. Whereas in our case, it's not enough people. There's a legal verified entity behind this account, otherwise it wouldn't exist. And I can prove that by asking the questions from that agent. So there's two conversations that are taking place here with identity behind it, completely agentic. and they can verify that with each other against what's on the chain.
So, I mean, is this solving then beyond agent accountability? I mean, even like you talk about like age gating and proving you're 18 or 21. I mean, this
Absolutely.
is right. This isn't just a solution for agents. This is a solution for where they're at. Are they in the proper location, geography? Are they 21? Right.
Yeah, I mean, this is the beauty of having an identity that you can do zero knowledge proofs against in your account. And this is all, don't forget, zero knowledge proof. So you're not giving your identity away. It's not like I'm giving my information to the supermarket. I'm just proving in a completely privacy preserving manner that I am indeed over 18 and I'm indeed in this jurisdiction.
Yeah, very, very interesting. So what actually is getting linked when an agent registers?
So when an agent comes and registers, what we do is we basically the same as as I said, we're compatible with ERC 8004, right? So we mint an NFT on our contracts in our agent registry that we associate to your account. So that's you owning that NFT, and hence that's your agent's badge. And at the same time, if you are coming from somewhere else, like Ethereum or Sol, we have the ability to verify you've signed something with that key, with a public private key that exists on the Ethereum side, and we associate the whole thing in that one record. And then we kind of give you the information that you need to put into your agent card. And then we have an MCP server that runs. That will then we come to it and say, can you verify this badge for me? We'll go and look on the chain, return, yep, here's the owner, here's the account, etc., etc. I can validate that this is indeed a valid record. Now, if you're doing agent to agent here, what will happen is the agent that's requesting that information will now have the ability to say, okay, well, great, I've got your badge. Now, can you prove you have access to that account by signing and giving me something? And it can then verify it. So we're basically linking it all together in an immutable way on the chain, all against your identity that exists on the account.
Very.
Does that kind of make sense?
It does. Yeah. I mean, cool. It is. I mean, it's technical in nature. I don't know how you're doing it.
You're talking to the CTO, so I might go too technical, in which case bring me back up and I'll explain it in another way.
I mean, it's like, and I guess at the end of the day, I personally, like, and most users, we don't necessarily need to understand exactly how it works, but having a solution in place is pretty key. It's pretty critical, and I think going to become increasingly important. And I think beyond these agents, like that was like the light bulb moment that went off for me. Is like this is solving on-chain transactions. This is solving some challenges that have existed for years in the on-chain ecosystem, the on-chain economy, and being able to verify where the end user is without exposing who they actually are, right? You don't need to know, you're not going to see my address, but you need to know that I live in the United States or I live in Florida, depending on what, some state, municipality laws. And it's been seemingly an afterthought up until this point.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's two things here that you kind of touched on here. One is that kind of we've got used to just giving our information away, right? We've got so used to over the last few years that we just without even understanding how or why, we give all this information away. And our whole thing about our identity layer is to be privacy preserving. Right? There's no reason why your copy of your passport should be in so many locations that can be, targeted or breached or whatever. It's just back in the day, and I'm showing my age, turning up and going into a club, you wouldn't give your passport to them. They would just look at you and go, do you have some sort of an ID? They would look at it quickly, and the ID goes back into your wallet, and you move on. Whereas online, there's a copy of that held somewhere, right? That you don't necessarily realize that this is happening. So having this ability to do zero knowledge proofs against your identity, which proves categorically that you are indeed over 18 or in that jurisdiction, or indeed that is your name, because we can do reveals with our zero knowledge proofs as well. That, without it being a copy of it stored somewhere. And the second point, sorry, just to
go for it,
because I said there's two things that you said. If you take your mind back to when the web originally started, or first started, and then we started getting into DNSs, and then we started getting into certificates, and then we started getting into, is this the real website versus the wrong website? Have you been spoofed? Is there kind of a middleman? All those history that people might not necessarily know. if you cast your mind back, you would see this kind of a green tick in the browser, or a yellow tick in the browser, or something that would, or a lock, yellow lock used to be, that would suggest to you that you're safe. The website that you're visiting is indeed the website that it's supposed to be and hasn't been spoofed in the middle or middleman attacked or anything like that. It's kind of what we're bringing in to the agentic world, right? If you see a Concordian badge with a tick on it, you know that there's a human behind this, right? And you can verify that badge. You can take that number and you can take it to our MCP and say, is this a real number? Is this valid? Is this the real kind of accountable agent? And the answer will be yes or no, because we can check. And that's kind of where we're trying to get to with the badge, right? With that tick.
That makes a lot of sense. That, you know, comparing this to, like, you were talking about the lock or the shield on Web 2. I even thought of, like, this is probably going to make me sound ignorant as the non-technical one, but like even realizing that, oh, HTTPS means a lot different than just HTTP, right?
Correct.
And
but you don't realize it.
Right.
You don't do it anymore, right?
Exactly.
That technology is now taken care of for you by the browser. You don't see the lock, you don't see the shield, you don't even see the HTTPS and HTTP anymore, unless you try to copy it specifically.
Yes.
You can't see it at the top.
And not only that, but if I go to a site that's not, I get warned. Like whether it's a browser or an extension, like I get warned. Like it's the internet's much safer today than it was in 1999. I feel like, again,
here we go again.
Yeah, it's running it back.
Or 10, whichever round it is we're on.
But it's the exposure or the risk, if not done safely and secure, I feel is much greater, because now it's not just like where the human might go. I might have accessed an unsecure website. It's we're letting agents run around and transact on our behalf, and like it's just like the proverbial can of worms that could be opened by non-secure, non-verifiable. One like I don't know where I saw this in maybe it was just the take or the quote that and I saw accountability doesn't require exposure, it requires traceability. And to me that hit is like, oh, okay, yeah, it's not just we don't need to show everything. You don't need to know where the person is and everything about them, but to know that there is some traceability there. To your earlier point, if something goes wrong, we can get to the bottom of it. If something's exploited by an agent, we can get to the bottom of it. My next question, Peter, it would be, why build this at a protocol level instead of just the app layer?
Well, look, I mean, this is an interesting question without trying to get too technical about it, right? The whole principle behind the app layer is it can be kind of middleman attacked. It can stay in the application and you have to trust the application. It's a case of it can be kind of, as we said, HTTP versus HTTPS. It's not as secure because it's an application at the end of the day, right? With the protocol, you have that protection that you have at your fund level, right? If you trust it to keep track of your funds and your tokens, why would you not trust it to keep track of your identity as well, right? It can't be spoofed. It can't come in. You've got the power of the vault, that is the blockchain, that is the protocol that's protects it, and that's really kind of what it is. Is any other layer you put it, if you do it as a blockchain that has a bolt-on, then fundamentally the underlying technology doesn't have identity in it. So there's always a way to bypass it if it's an add-on. And if it's at the application layer, well, the application can kind of be attacked or kind of spoofed in the middle.
Makes sense. And especially when it comes to something like trust and privacy, like trust probably works better at an infrastructure layer than when it's not an afterthought or bolted on afterwards, right?
Exactly. It's at the infrastructure layer. And look, I think this is the other thing you were just mentioning now is like, I might have visited the website back in the day and kind of done something that I shouldn't have. But that's at the human speed, right? It's slow. In comparison, it's very slow.
That's exactly it.
These agents are transacting and moving and making decisions at a phenomenal speed. And there's a phenomenal number of them, right? So you got to have something that cannot be broken that easily or spoofed that easily or attacked that easily in the middle. And that's kind of what a protocol brings you, right? It's a distributed protocol that sits there and holds that identity and that badge.
Yeah, it's just the speed of it's growing exponentially faster than humans. I mean, it took humans what, 30 plus years to get to this amount of activity on the internet. It took agents a couple years. And not only the growth, but to your point, the volume of transaction they can do, the volume of things they can do. It's not just 24/7. And while yes, I'm not saying we've reached AGI and they're out there doing things on their own, but there are agents, I mean, that you can ask to do things, and it's going to go off and continue to work and do a bunch of tasks, and it may go beyond what you initially thought you had asked it to do, right?
Yeah, and look, it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing.
Right.
I'm not against agents or the AI world at all. Quite the opposite. I'm very excited about where this is going to go and kind of how life is going to look in 5 years, let alone 10 years, even 2 years, depending at the rate that we're going at. I mean, look, I travel a lot, right? So why not have an agent that sits there and just books my flights, looks at my calendar, sees an event has popped in, and without me having to do anything, goes, oh, I can see you going to an event in Berlin. I've booked you the flight and the hotel. Like, why not? That sounds like a wonderful world to live in, right? But I need to be able to trust it. That ticket company needs to be able to trust that it's talking to an agent that is actually Pete. The hotel needs to know that there's a human behind here and not just some random bot that's just booking hotel rooms and not paying up for it. I need to make sure that it doesn't spend my money buying a first class ticket instead of an economy ticket, right? These are all the things that need to come into it. And this is kind of where our positioning is. This is what our view for the future is we should have that, and we should definitely build that, but we're building the infrastructure that kind of allows you to do that in a safe way.
Exactly.
And not end up on a flight on a first class ticket to the Bahamas when you're trying to go to Berlin.
or if it does, at least know who's responsible. Like to their point, like, hey, it's one thing to this agent's great. It works 9 out of 10 times perfect. Then the 10th time it spends $3,000 when you thought you were spending $300 on a flight. If there's no one on the other end of it, if you can't connect with that human or the organization who created it, good luck getting a refund or getting your the problem solved. So this
and our locks would even stop that from happening in the first place. So that's the whole point of it.
Right. So this is I mentioned earlier, we talked about ERC 8004, this registry, which I just checked. I didn't think it was out 3 months, and just shy of 3 months. It launched officially on March 15th. So we're 10 days away from even 90 days. And there's already been over 200,000 registered agents. Just from in your opinion, is that in line with your expectation? Is that vastly exceeded your expectation? Is that underpacing what you thought? Like, to me, it's a huge number.
There's lots. Yeah, there's lots happening, right? There's so much happening on the chain, and at the end of the day, we're the infrastructure. We're not a use case. We're not a specific product as such, where we're trying to go out there. There's lots of use cases that we're talking to, or they're interested, or they're reaching out to us, and we're saying, look, this is what we got, and the general reaction we get is, wow, that's fantastic. It's kind of what we've been looking for. So yeah, the world's the oyster. Let's keep going for it.
So back to this badge. I think the badge is a really cool concept. I don't know if that was you or who on the team thought about that. I think that just, to me, that is a necessary thing. And it's going to take this very technical conversation and make it a very simple decision or visual for the end user. Oh, there's the Concordian badge, there's not the badge. What does the badge actually mean? And maybe just as important, what does it also not mean?
Yeah. Look, when you see that badge, right, and when your agency is the badge, or you're talking to an agent that's got that badge, or the badge appears on an app or a DApp or something like that, what it means is there's a verified human that has commissioned this agent, that is behind this agent, right? It means there's accountability for this agent, that if it does something that it shouldn't do, somebody is there to say, yep, you know what, that's on me, because that's my agent. And it also means that the relationship can be proven, right? I can categorically prove that this agent was holding that badge, which was commissioned by Pete, right? Because it's in Pete's account. So that's kind of what it does mean. What it doesn't mean is that this is an approved, you should definitely use, it's got the king seal of approval on it. Because that's not what it is. It's just verifying that there's a human behind it. It's not an endorsement. It's not like Concordium is going, yes, this is definitely the best agent to use because we trust Pete. No, that's because we don't know who's Pete. As Concordium, we don't know who owns what account. We are just the infrastructure. We don't see your we don't have access to your identity or documents or anything like that. That is done on a third party IDP, which verifies your identity, not Concordium as a foundation and stuff. And obviously, it doesn't mean it's risk free. I mean, you're still talking to an agent. You're still talking to something that might go wrong. That's kind of what the reality of the situation is and the technology that you're using. It just means that if it does go wrong, there's a human behind it, and it should be accountable for it.
Yep, that's very important. The badge isn't perfect. You see this badge, it doesn't mean it's approved or endorsed or risk free. It means that there's a verified human exists behind it, that there's an accountability layer, and that relationship can be proven. I think that's just because you see the badge, don't just think it's this is don't think it's not going to book you that $3,000 first class fight. Just know that if it does, you're going to be able to know who was behind it doing so, right?
Exactly.
So I guess we talked about cross chain. We talked about Ethereum. Can you speak more to that? Like, why is that cross chain important? I think some may have already connected that dot, but and then what's next on the roadmap? Am I correct in thinking it's Ethereum and Solana today?
Yeah, it's Ethereum and Solana today. We're talking to a fair number of marketplaces where they've got their own kind of identities or approaches or ecosystems that will become that accountability layer within them, right? And look, as I said at the very beginning, our approach here isn't everybody should drop everything and come and build on Concordium. I mean, it's by all means do so because we have a lot of features which kind of make sense. As I said, we've got identity at the protocol level. We have tokens at the protocol level, so you're not going to get well, funnily enough, your smart contract, which your tokens are in on the other chains, aren't going to get hacked by the AI in the first place because it's at the protocol level. We're going to be launching very soon our locks, which is the guardrails for what your agent is allowed to spend and where and how often. So there's that as well. Is like going back to the shopping analogy. If you're gonna say I want to spend $50 or a week, you would put that into a lock and you would put the conditions on that lock. Even if I fund the lock by $500 and my agent decides that it's going to go and buy the most expensive steak there is from the supermarket every day of the week, it won't be able to spend it because the guardrails are there to say, yeah, thanks for thinking about me and making sure that I have a wonderful dinner this week, but the money isn't there, so you can't spend it. So we got those kind of things, and yeah, going back to kind of your original question, we have ETH and Sol at the moment, and we're talking to a lot of platforms which will be onboarding soon enough. And the thing is here, the verification of you on another platform. So at the moment, without getting too technical, I'll try to keep it high level. We have two smart contracts which are actually working here in the registry, right? One is the actual CIS 8004, which is the equivalent of ERC 8004, but with identity information on top. But we also have a CIS 8 that's kind of working in the background here when you come from Sol or ETH. And that is the ability to verify that your key, your signature that you sign, the smart contract can verify that, yes, this makes sense. The signature on the account matches the public key that's being registered here. So we verified that key. Now, in some marketplaces or in some places or ecosystems, the smart contract can't do that verification. So what we will have is the ability for you to have an external person verifying it or an external body verifying it, like someone like Fetch.ai, for example, will verify that this is indeed a agent on my ecosystem, and then put that on the chain as an attestation, which then gets linked back into the 8004 contract on Concordium. So that's kind of where we're at, which is why we're saying wherever you are, whatever you're building, you can carry on. We'll just kind of add that accountability layer to your agent.
I love it. So we've given a few examples, but do you mind? I just like which use cases do you think need accountability first? If someone's out there, they're building agents, like what jumps to the top in terms of like these you should be prioritizing these use cases specifically for this accountability layer?
I think anything as soon as you start transacting money, right? As soon as you're transacting in value or in that kind of a situation, you need accountability. You need to know where the money came from, and you need to know where the money's going. As simple as that at the very bottom layer. And those are the kind of your trading agents, which we got your treasury agents, which are kind of working there, even marketplace agents, places where they are not only placing orders but they're also paying for it. There's also an exchange of value here which takes place. You need to verify these things. And I think the other big use case, which I think will probably be the bigger adopters of this technology, is the enterprises,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I say that is because every enterprise is seeing the value of the speed that these guys make decisions on, or the vast amount of information that they can digest before making a decision, right? So it makes sense to use them. The problem is they're an enterprise that is accountable, right?
Yep.
What they do matters. People come back to them and they hold them accountable for, why did you buy that? Why did you make that decision? Even if it's not a transaction of value, even if it's a decision that was made to go for one contract versus the other contract, for example, right? I've digested 6 contracts as to which one we should procure, and I'm suggesting contract B, right? Well, which agent decided that? Was that your agent, or was that some random agent that decided it should be contract B? So enterprises are going to need their agents to be accountable, that to say that this agent is indeed my agent that is acting, and I'm accountable for its behavior and its decisions.
Yeah.
And it kind of also brings us to another key thing that we'll be launching very soon, is our audit layers that we have, right? So last year we pushed our verify and access, which was again using our identity on the chain, that allowed you to kind of rock up to a website and say, yes, I'm over 18, and prove it. Now we spoke to Ofcom, the person, the body in charge of actually doing these verifications, or monitoring these verifications, we say, on these websites. And one of the things that came out was the fact that our solution drops an audit anchor onto the chain that says, at this point in time, this check did take place, and here's the hash of all of that information, which now means if they're ever audited, they can look at the logs and see that this hasn't been adopted, this hasn't been changed, this hasn't kind of been retro done because they realize, oh, we missed a log here, we make an entry here so that to make it look like we did what we did. All of that can be proven because there's an anchor on the chain. And it's the same here with enterprises. Your agent behaves and does something, makes a decision, just drop an anchor onto the chain. And then if you're ever audited, or if anyone ever asks internally, externally, what happened and why and when, well, here's an anchor. We can prove that it did do right things, or indeed it did do wrong things, and we're accountable for it.
Right. Did you hear when you talk through that example? I mean, my brain goes to, I'm sure that there's enterprise already today, corporations that are leveraging AI agents in customer service. And I can imagine, at least I envision, you probably have a manager, a human manager that's managing a fleet of agents responding to the customer service requests. And there's probably already been an example of a corporation that one of the agents did something wrong, and they don't even know who the manager was, or
Exactly.
like being able to reconcile. And because it's like, hey, humans aren't perfect, neither are agents. Like, are they going to get better? Probably. Like they most likely to continue to get smarter and better. But this is like phase 1. This is ground zero, and a lot of them, they do hallucinate. I mean, you see it. Anyone who uses AI on a daily basis today, even in just as a chatbot, you see the errors they make. They're hallucinations sometimes, and I never even. Yeah, it's such to me such an obvious need. I'm getting more shocked that this seemingly has been forgotten about by those that are building in this agentic world. It's like you would think this would have been step 1, but good opportunity for Concordia.
This is kind of what I mean by the pace, right? Because any other technology up to this point hasn't moved at this pace, because the truth is it's building itself, right? A lot of development that's going on right now is through AI. So AI is almost building applications and building these use cases and pushing itself forward and learning from that process. I mean, we're all teaching AI how to do things, right? By interacting with it. So that's why the pace is so fast. And that's the thing, is these guardrails and these accountabilities need to come in sooner rather than later, to allow us to continue growing at this rate, because all it's going to take is that one kind of scenario or use case where something unfortunate happens.
And Peter, you might have hit on this already, but I assume then like this also solves where you got agent to agent transaction, right? Like what happens when one agent wants to verify another agent before transacting?
Yeah. I mean, I covered it quickly, but in essence, what happens is I'm agent Pete's talking to supermarket agent, and I want to say, right, I'm here, I'm Pete, here's my Concordian badge, you can go and verify it. So now what's happening is the supermarket agent is going to go read my agent card, see that, yep, there is a Concordium badge here. I'm going to talk to the Concordium MCP, and I'm going to give it the badge and say, kind of, who's the owner? I'm going to get that information back. And then I'm going to go back to Pete's agent and say, right, I can see it should be account number 1234. Can you prove you've got access to account 1234? So my agent will sign something and send it back to them. And they go, yeah, great, cool. I can now verify that you are indeed Pete's agent. Without knowing it's Pete, if you get what I mean. I can verify that there's a human behind you. And in the same way, I can do the same thing to the supermarket agent, right? My agent should verify that it is indeed the right supermarket and not some other supermarket or an agent pretending to be that enterprise. And the same process works the other way. And obviously, they can do this in parallel, so it's relatively quick. But it's a very agent to agent. Within a few seconds, our zero knowledge proofs are generated in a few seconds, and they can be verified in a few seconds. So it's not a smart contract that's doing that. That's the whole point. It's not a smart contract that's doing the zero knowledge proof verification.
And this is free today, right? At least for the time being. Like, you can go register agent for free. It's
completely free. Rock up and register. And obviously, look, at the end of the day, our registry is indeed a standard. Right, we're a chain. It's our CIS 8004 agency. So there'll be many different agencies. Obviously, the one that we're running ourselves at the moment, we're saying is free. Come and get yourself a Concordium badge.
It's awesome.
There you go.
So go to you can find the Concordium account. They're in the co-host seat right now. If you're not following them, hit the Concordium account with a follow. Give Peter a follow. There's a few posts from Concordium linked up top, and make sure, as always, you're checking official links, even if it's you doing it as a human and not having your agent go out there and do this stuff for you. But it's agent-registry.concordium.com to register agent. Again, you can get that through. You can find your path there just from concordium.com or those links pinned up top. Peter, I know we're running up against time here. Really enjoyed the conversation today. I tell you what, man, the team is. I don't know if you've had professional speaking training or you're just all naturals, but it's not just delivering. I felt the same way chatting with your CEO. It's not just delivering this technical information in a manner where the layman's like myself can understand it, but you can hear the passion in your voice, and that this is a really big deal. What you are doing is at a foundational level, something that is critical as our world moves into this agentic internet. And so, on behalf of all our listeners, on behalf of the space at large, thank you for taking the lead. Thank you for pushing the space forward and solving a real problem that not everyone may not realize it's a problem yet, but you're getting ahead of it. You're solving a challenge, a real problem, building a solution for it before people start booking a lot of $3,000 flights they thought were going to be $300, and they may never even quite realize like how thankful they are for what you're all building behind the scenes. But it really, truly, thank you for taking this leadership role in something that I think is absolutely critical to this agentic web.
Well, look, thank you very much. That's a very kind thing to say. And yeah, we are very passionate about it because we do, it's when you see something that no one else is seeing at the moment, it kind of excites you even more, and then kind of wants you to fix it and get it out there. And I encourage everybody to come and take a look and, validate what we're saying. It's all out there for you to see and agree with yourself. But yeah, thank you very much for the interview. It's been a pleasure.
My pleasure was mine. Really, really appreciate it. Awesome. We'll have to do this again. I have gotten. I'm in the Concordium rabbit hole. I was excited to work with you all, and it's just like the more we talk, though, the more I learn. I'm like, wow, this is. I'm grateful beyond just the partnership. This is something that it is exciting, and I'm not sure. I'm happy to amplify it. This is something that people need to be aware of. If you're building agents, get them registered, get ahead of it before there is a problem. And I just think from the credibility, and I could see it as a value add for those that are building agents. It's like, hey, ours is, ours can be trusted. Like, ours has already been registered. You could stand out. That badge, I think, will help really drive some incremental value to those that are building, and just makes for a safer internet. I'll let you get out of here, but one final question, if you have the time, if for everyone that's tuned in today, whether they're listening live or they're listening to this playback, if listeners remember one thing from today, what should it be?
I think we want the agentic economy to grow. It just needs to grow in a safe way, right? And for that, it needs accountability, right? The agentic economy doesn't need more intelligence. It's got lots of intelligence, and it's amazing that it has it. It just needs accountability.
I mean, back to that professional speaking, that is a soundbite right there. If you missed it, the agentic economy doesn't need more intelligence. It needs more accountability. And it's a great way to put it. It makes all the sense in the world. And it's not slowing down from an intelligence standpoint. It seems like every week we get a new frontier model that's updated. It's better than the one before. It's smarter than before. But until you guys came along, the accountability piece was missing. So thanks again for solving that gap. And really enjoyed the time today. Any other final thoughts, closing words before we let you get out of here?
No, just carry on doing what everyone's doing and have a beautiful day.
You as well. Thanks so much. Enjoy your Friday. Enjoy your weekend. And truly, again, thanks for your time today. Really appreciate it, and greatly enjoyed the conversation.
Likewise.
Have a great one. Awesome. Good stuff. So I hope I know I did my best to set that up, like little technical, but really I hope you see. I hope you agree and see the value in this. Is a really important piece to this agentic web, this agentic infrastructure, and a layer that has been missing, and it's now the gaps being closed. So I'll tell you again, or suggest again, if you've not yet given the Concordium account a follow, it's there in the co-host seat. Peter's up on stage still, and the team's great. They're working with some great people. I'll actually see if I go find and I'll pin up top the interview we did with their CEO here recently. If you want more information, that's another good one to hear a different perspective, but all important, powerful stuff as well. And I would also be remiss, we didn't even hit on it today, but just kind of to circle back to their partnership with the Danish national hockey team, which you may think, how does that relate to any of this? They're building this infrastructure layer. They're building this missing layer in the agentic world, but they're also doing stuff with it. They're also building on top of it and building out agentic commerce solutions with a national hockey team. They're building out, loyalty rewards program with the national hockey team. Like, they're really baking in beyond the infrastructure layer and helping create a safer agentic web. They really are layering in, building, giving great use cases and examples on top of that. They're not just saying, "Hey, here's the thing, trust us, go build with it." Rather, "Hey, here's an example of something you can build with. Here's something that something we've done that you might find some value in." And from what I've seen, what they're doing with the hockey team is pretty exciting, and I love how they're building. I'll just say that. Like, I have truly enjoyed talking to the leadership team, but beyond what they're building, how they're going about it, and not just because I think sometimes it's the I don't know the right analogy. It's like those who can't teach, and it's not a perfect analogy here, but you see a lot of people will build a solution or solve a problem, but then not really be using the solution themselves. It's like, "Oh, just trust us. This works. This is what you need to be doing." In this case, they've done that. They've built this trust layer. They built this missing agentic layer, while at the same time they're building on top of it. They're using it and showing to the end user, to the enterprises out there, how it actually is a better solution, not just waiting for others for those case studies, but building some of those case studies out themselves. I saw we've got a couple new guests here. I saw, I apologize if I get the name wrong, but Sardonia, looks like you've done some work, passionate Concordium fan as well. Any questions, comments? What brought you up this morning? Sardinia. My apologies on the name. It's ongoing. It's not a bit, just an ongoing bit for me as my mispronunciation names. If you want to get in here, if you had a question or comment, feel free to do so. Otherwise, we got a few minutes left here before we send everyone off into their Friday. Mike Campbell, congrats on the win. I do apologize. I went to swap it, but I missed it, the 15-minute window. So I can I'll either send you the card, or I'll keep the card and send you the 5170 after the show here. My bad on that miss, but nice pull there on the BZ front. Congrats on that. Nice little way to kick off your Friday. here is that Payne even told me how to pronounce it, but I've already lost that in the chat here. He says it is pronounced Scyther. He even gives me like the proper pronunciation, and I still start Scyther. I think that's it. We're gonna go with it. A couple other comments from the chat. Gunter said, "Yeah, bots have been a large part of the internet activity, and especially blockchain transactions." GM OX lawyer. What's the TLDR on Zcash? So here's the TLDR, and I would encourage you all to do some deeper diving, because the TLDR is Claude. Basically, someone with a $20 Claude subscription found a bug in Zcash that could allow for infinite tokens. So basically someone could go in and mint an infinite amount of tokens. And because it's a privacy chain, thus far, now they say they're going to update it, they'll be able to find out. As of now, we don't even know. We don't know who's minted infinity. If there's been extra tokens minted, you've seen a lot of people. And please don't take this out of context. I'm not singling out any of the individuals or any of the KOLs who've been bull posting Zcash for the last few months. I'm not saying they're nefarious or they're minting unlimited tokens, but we don't know. And all I will say is on the unique or odd price action where it would be up 20% a day, then down 20% the next day, then up 30%, then down 30%, which is very volatile for something that had seemingly captured the narrative. It was the leading narrative of the space. It was like the two main narratives of 2026 have been perps on Hyperliquid, not just on Hyperliquid, but perps as a leading narrative, and Hyperliquid being in the clubhouse lead there, and then privacy from Zcash, Monero, and a few others. And it's odd that you saw something that captured such attention and what was the lead or one of the lead, in terms of leading narratives, and yet continue to remain so volatile. Now, yes, if you zoom out, it had a pretty big rip up, but lawyer goes on to say, call me hater, but kind of fitting DHoff top blasted Zcash after dumping ETH. Not gonna rub salt in the wound. To your point, yeah, not doing much better on the ETH front either. But it is not removing the individuals from it. It is a reminder in volatile markets, bear markets, whatever you want to call the current state of things, that it's okay to take shots. It's probably not the wisest decision to full port or put 50% of your portfolio into anything, especially if it's something that you don't fully understand. And I'm not saying that those individuals that were full porting or going hard, putting 50% of their allocation or portfolio into Zcash didn't understand it, but it is a volatile asset. It was a volatile asset, and again, not taking shots at Gainsey either. I like Gainsey. I actually feel bad for Gainsey, but there was so much bull posting. Some I'm sure did understand it. My read was a lot, not naming any names, but I think several didn't fully understand Zcash. Probably weren't even using Zcash. They might have bought some. They probably bought some and were bull posting their bags and talking about the latest greatest thing. But I would ask them, how have you transacted on Zcash other than buying and selling the token? Have you done anything on Zcash? Have you bought anything with your Zcash, or have you just bought it and sold it? And I'm sure people have. I didn't see anyone talking about actually using Zcash. It to me seemed like a very much so a manufactured pump, and in a narrative that people wanted to get behind. They wanted the next Bitcoin. They wanted, privacy makes sense. I mean, a lot of what we spent this morning talking about with Concordium, to where you can, but the difference, the big difference, I know it's not apples to apples. I know that's just privacy of your wallets and your transaction, not specifically agents, a whole nother problem that Concordium is solving here. But this idea of privacy with accountability is increasingly important. And we didn't set this up. We had no idea that this Zcash bug was going to happen the day before we interviewed the Concordium CEO. But if you were unsure how important accountability is and privacy and the combination of the two, We got unfortunately or fortunately a good example. Again, I feel for anyone that got had a big bag of Zcash and saw your bag get cut in half overnight. But it is a stark market. It is scary. It's scary that that removing Zcash, the whole privacy narrative, it is scary that AI is growing so fast. The intelligence is leapfrogging its former intelligence. It's just like, if not weekly, monthly, there's usually some new frontier model that's materially more intelligent than the one prior. But we haven't seen these gains in accountability and trust until Concordium came along, and the 8004 registry from Ethereum. That's a good step. That also table stakes, and it's good that they can you can register them. But what does that even mean if you're not able to? What does that solve? And not knocking it. It's just because it was a key part. That is the foundational layer needed for really Concordium then to connect those registered agents and verify and connect them with real human or a real enterprise. So interesting times indeed. I still remain, maybe I'm just the crazy one, the perma optimist that is excited about the opportunities that do exist during this time. It's just move with caution would be my advice. Is before we say don't put any money in you can't afford to lose. That should be repeated and repeated, as you just don't know. There's this new risk of AI exposing exploits, exposing bugs, and the bad actors they have more tools and resources at their disposal today than ever before. So just move with caution. I'm not saying be scared, but just don't put any money into anything you can't afford to lose. And diversification is a good thing, not just for upside, but for downside protection. It's like, you might you think about diversification so that you maybe 1 in 10 hits that 10x or 100x runner. On the flip side, it's if you're spread your portfolio across 10 major plays and one of them was Zcash, you're not hurt nearly as bad today as if you had 50 or 100% of your on-chain portfolio in Zcash. So I think as much as it is diversification is good for upside, it also is probably arguably even helped more so with downside protection. Diablito just shared this. Very thankful to have acquired this is from Adam Weitzman. Very thankful to have acquired the remaining 805 MeBits from the historic Larva Labs collection. With this acquisition, the collection becomes the largest MeBits assemblage in the world, with 1,036 works, including MeBit 8368, the extremely rare dissected. Congrats to Adam, and congrats to Sergito and the MeBits team. So we basically bought out the remainder of Meebco MeBits in the treasury. And while sometimes you might think, an organization selling their treasury is bearish, I don't know as if you could find a better steward than Adam Weitzman. I don't know if he's sold a single NFT yet, and he's probably not going to start with those MeBits. So you're almost effectively taking 1,000 MeBits off the market. Let's go check before we let you out of here. It is a Friday, so we'll let you enjoy your Friday morning. But before, I guess, while I'm pulling that up, if there's anything else, I know it feels like mint mania here as of late. If there's anything that you got your eyes on today, anything that you plan on minting or taking a deeper look at, let me know in the chat. And I would be curious to see what where I feel like we got some momentum on these NFT mints. I'm curious where we're heading as we go into the weekend. Yeah, MeBit's up 10% on the move. That was an OTC sale. So then even this, it wasn't an 800 MeBit sweep. It was over the counter and not impacting the market, but the market did respond. MeBit's looking like one of the big winners on the day, up 10% to 0.39 ETH. And I've always wanted one. Maybe this is what I need. That's actually not a bad one there. I like the beard. I like the jeans. Not a bad one there for 0.39. I might go MeBit shopping today. That's why there's a rare lady. Maybe that's my Friday. There's a nice suit top. I like that one. I like the mohawk. This might be my Friday on-chain activity is going MeBit shopping. Speaking of on-chain activity, big shout out to the legendary, the most generous man in the abstract streets. That's what some are saying, some being me. Hans W. Hans over there, big 500 Pingu tip on a Friday. Greatly appreciate that. Thank you very much. It is greatly, especially on markets like this. We can use all the love and support as we can possibly get. So big thank you to Hans, as always. Appreciate your generosity. And I am looking. It said if you're sitting on Bitcoin, ETH, Pingu, and NFTs, you might be down, but I'm doubling down on my NFTs. Are having a moment. It's not we're not back, but we are. I think NFT season 2 has begun. It's going to be very different, but it's where, like, I don't know, 6 months ago, a year ago, I might have been I might have been not interested in NFT mint. Now I very much so am. And I'm not even, Dwayne, thank you for sharing. I'm not even going to give that any attention. I just would, one thing I would not be putting money into right now is a meme coin launched by someone who's an engagement farmer or rage baiter. We've seen this before. There'll probably be a pump in the short term, and then it's likely going to zero pretty quickly. And then you can connect some dots working backwards. It was probably said individual's plan from the jump, and I'm not surprised. I actually, if I'm surprised, I'm surprised it took they waited this long to drop some sort of an extraction in the form of a meme token. But last topic, Be Epic. Thank you very much for the Pingu tip as well. You two are legends. Greatly appreciated. Very much so. Thank you very much. I need to play some Blinko. That's the other thing. So Blinko and Meebit shopping's on my agenda today. I'm not saying I'm going to buy one, but I'm at least going to look at Meebits and play a round of Plinko or two, and then or Blinko rather. Last news item that we didn't hit on earlier. I was debating whether I gave it any coverage or not, but Bitcoin down. It is breaking. Bitcoin's breaking. It's now 61,000. Down below 61,000, excuse me, down $18,000 in the last 10 days. Oof. Not great. But we buy dips and we sell rips, right? Just be safe out there. Be safe out there. Don't overextend yourself. Go play some 82-0 or one of the 17. There was a college football version of that 82-0 that we shared yesterday. If you enjoy, if NBA basketball is not your thing, there's a football one, there's a baseball one, there's a college football one. There's a lot of different of those sim games that have taken over the timeline. The last thing though that I will share, and then we'll get you out of here. Last headline on the day is Pump Fun, right out of Black Mirror. I believe this actually was a Black Mirror episode. Pump Fun Go. They just introduced Pump Fun Go. Pay anyone to do anything. Create and complete bounties for any task, and leverage the power of humans and money across the globe. The world is at your fingertips. It's time to go. I'll see if I can find a couple of the examples. I did see that there's someone, they got a bounty on, well, here's one, a bounty on, someone's offering $24,584, almost $25,000 to track down the family of the killer or officer involved and film them on camera. The killer of Henry Nowak. There was another one. No, that's not real. That better not be real. Here are the real ones though. $56,000 bounty to skydive into a World Cup match wearing a meme coins mascot. 24 some change, interview the killer's family. $3,000 to quit your job live on camera. That probably happens today. Someone probably takes that bounty today. $2,700 to get a tattoo on your forehead. Man, if I don't, there's not a number you could pay me to get a tattoo on my forehead. I'm not, yeah, I don't even, I'm at a loss for words. Anyways, if it's your sort of thing, go have some fun. All-time lows, by the way, on the Pump Fun token, with no still no airdrop. So Here's you can get an example. The tattoo. Just get a tattoo of the ticker bounty work. Shave eyebrows completely with ticker bounty work. Feed a homeless person and take a selfie with tick. Fart through a megaphone in a lecture. $1,000. Like, someone will probably do that today. Like, whatever. Like, have fun with it. Some of these are fine. I just, like, we saw some vile stuff when they turned streaming on the first time, and it's already approaching like some questionable activity. And that's just my concern is, I mean, the reality is a lot of these people are in the pump fund trenches. A lot of them are broke. A lot of them didn't enter those trenches with a lot of money to begin with. Some lost everything, and just like it just feels like to me, it gives me there's like a sinking feeling in my stomach, because while this is straight out of a Black Mirror episode, I think it's even worse because it's almost preying on people who are down bad. And I know, hey, some people have made incredible money in pump fund. I think the people who are going to get a tattoo on their forehead for a few grand, they're down really bad. And it's exploiting, is that maybe too harsh of a word? Exploiting people who are down bad on their luck or broke. And I don't know. It's not even necessarily a pump fund problem. It's just it's very dystopian. And yeah, I'll just leave it with that. So I too would quit my job for $3K if I had a job. I would take him up on that bounty, but fortunately, I'm not on anyone's payroll that I can retire from. Not anymore. That was May of 2023, right? 2024. When did I leave corporate America? I don't know. Time flies when you're having fun. I think it's been at least a full 2 years. Anyways, enjoyed the show today. Thanks so much to Concordium and Peter for joining us today. Really enjoyed the conversation. Shout out to our friends over at Reach Network, who introduced us to Concordium and set up that relationship. And I disclosed earlier, but yes, we have a campaign. We have an ongoing partnership, ongoing sponsorship with Concordium. So yes, is a sponsored interview, but we've been pretty selective with our sponsored interviews, and especially those we do longer campaigns with. And this is one that really do believe it's a critical missing layer to this agentic web and more. But I think just in what we talked about today, a real solution to a real challenge that exists in the world. And I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for the love on the space day. Thanks for helping get things warmed up. Appreciate everyone who hung out with us for some long shows this week. Our average show time might be longest we've had in a while. We had a couple shows push up almost 3 hours, and we're going to get out of here in 2 hours and 15 minutes today. But appreciate you all. Enjoyed the week. We'll have more guests coming next week. Shout out to Zoe and Mortis and the Gamify team, Introverse for joining us yesterday, and Dude List for joining us talking about that Doodles Mint. And yeah, we'll be back Monday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time as always. And I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Go Spurs. I think it's just one game. I think it's just tonight. I don't think game 3 will be until Monday. I could be wrong on that. I will I'll double check here. Next week, we're also going to do a game 3 is Monday. Yeah. So yeah, just tonight is game 2 in San Antonio, and then Monday they're in New York. So yeah, go Spurs tonight. And then next week, we're going to do a fun World Cup bracket, World Cup pool with Coffee with Captain. So if you're a soccer fan, a football fan, next week should be a fun one. And we'll see if we can get the prize pool boosted with some extra goodies. If anyone has any merch they'd like to donate or contribute, or any upcoming NFT mints, anything you'd like to add to the World Cup contest pot, let me know, and be happy to do so. As long as within reason, as long as it's not some of the silly stuff we're seeing on Pump Fund Go, we're probably game, and would be happy to give you a shout out and pass along some goodies to the audience. But thank you all very much. Have a wonderful Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you on Monday.